Good morning, welcome back guys to the Tring Shoe Repair channel. As always, I'm Dan. It's the King's coronation today. God save the King. So I thought I'd celebrate by making a fun video. So today, I'm taking my own Vans old school high top trainers, doing something special with them. If you're a Star Wars fan, this one's for you. Keep watching, see what it's all about. Okay guys, so once again, welcome back. Hope you're all doing well. Let me know if you guys are doing anything interesting for the coronation. Now, if you're anything like me, you're a bit of a nerd and you love Star Wars. Always loved growing up with the films and playing the video games, everything about it. And unless you've been living under a rock, you know that one of the hottest programs at the minute has been the Mandalorian. So something I've always been really interested in is putting artwork on shoes, and I really wanted to put the Mandalorian on a pair of my shoes. And I haven't done much on trainers on the channel, so I decided to dig out my Vans old school high tops. Yes, I wear trainers a lot of the time too. And what we're doing is putting the Mandalorian on the soles. And the way we're going to do this is my friends at Mobility Tools are helping us out. So Mobility Tools are a company over in South Wales. They're a 5-man setup. They're going for about 10 years, I believe, doing really well. What they normally do is make weightlifting belts, which is something that you use in the gym, wrap around yourself to help with core stability and strength. And what they do is they do amazing custom prints and designs on their belts. So I reached out to the guys at Mobility Tools to see if they could help me out with something that I could use for soles. And they're really kind enough to send over some of their UV printed veg tan leather. We've got this really cool artwork of Mandalorian right there. We got Grogu up in the house as well. So that is what we're doing, guys. Let's get started. First things first, just whip these laces out. So the first thing we need to do on these is get the footbed out. So with most trainers, they will have a removable footbed and insole that's all one piece. We just need to heat it up a little bit to release the glue and it should pull out. If you don't warm up the glue, then what will happen is you'll end up just tearing some of the foam on the footbed. It won't come out in one piece. And that is really stuck in there, but not too much for us. Okay, so this job is actually going to be quite simple. It's just going to be a case of sticking on our soling and stitching it on. So first thing we need to do is sand down this sole so that we get rid of the patterning and get a nice flat, even surface to glue our midsole onto. Okay, so I just changed my opinion on something on the fly as I was sanding, and that is to leave some of this pattern in. Two reasons. I don't want the sole to become too thin, and secondly, these holes here, air holes, they're going to act as shock absorption once it's all put together. What we need to do now is get some primer on there, because the material this is made of, it needs some primer before we put the glue on. So we've got the yellow Rehargle. It smells pretty strong, so don't go huffing it in. And this is going to bond to the material, and then the glue will bond to the primer. All right, then we give that 5 or 10 minutes to cure. If you're doing this yourself, a really good trick is to apply the primer to hot material. It already makes it bond harder. Okay guys, so just while that is curing, doing its thing, I want to talk to you about the midsole. So the prints, the leather that the guys at Mobility Tools sent us is a little thin, so I want to beef it up with a midsole. Now a lot of the time with a midsole we'd use leather, but seeing as these are rubber shoes, rubber construction, we're going to use a rubber midsole. So what we've got is some 4mm thick Vibram California sheeting. That's going to be our midsole, so we just need to cut it to shape. Now I think what we should do is we should start in the comments section, the age-old argument about which Star Wars films are better. Personally, I'm gonna say it, I like the prequels. The prequels are my favorite. I think they're the best. They've got the best lightsaber fights in them. Right, so once our primer has cured, when we're using primer, I also like to use something called hardener. So we've got here a bottle of Renier hardener. What we do is mix this up with glue. I like to mix it up with the glue at the same time to put it in a little pot. It just works better with rubbers and plastics, makes it dry rock solid. A little bit of hardener goes a long way. Plop him in. Give it a mix. Right, and then we're ready to do our gluing, and I need Chief Ron to help me, but he's being a bit silly at the minute. He's all distracted. He's really embracing the theme of the Star Wars video, and he thinks he's a snowtrooper today. Okay, so you know what time it is, guys. Let's get sticky. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry. Once it's all dry, heat it up to activate the glue and then stick it all together. Let's get him in there. Turbocharge it. Look out, rebels, blast them! Right, and we're just going to squash everything together, just like the trash compactor on the Death Star. Okay, so what we just did is trimmed around the edge of the sole to get off the excess and give it its shape, and also made it dead smooth, ready for the glue. Okay, so we're ready to glue up the shoe, and we're ready to glue up the leather print that we're using as our sole. Now, I'll be completely honest with you guys, my OCD is fully kicking in right now because I actually have a choice of 3 prints to use, and I cannot decide. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I've actually got a spare shoe that is exactly the same. I had 2 pairs of these. So I'm going to do 3, and I will film one of them as a short for the channel. But for now, I think we're going to start off with this Mando. Alright, so we've got to try and line it up just so that we get as much of Mando and of Grogu in as possible. I've been giving you the worst. Now you wanna stay tonight. Pretty how you work hard for me. We're forgetting how to talk. I don't like no hungry beats. Just go and slice it up. Now it's time to marry. Alright, so there we go, there's Mando and Grogu on our sole, but we need to cut off all this excess, so I need my knife, and I can't find it. Where is my knife? What's it doing all the way over there? If only I had some sort of force to grab it. Man, did you see that? I'm a Jedi. So coming over to the mini band, just to trim around the edges and give it a nice uniform edge. What I like to do when I'm working on something like this is put a bit of silicone, and that's going to protect the sole as we go around it on the machine. Right, so we're back out here with our Blake stitcher, or McKay stitcher. Reason being, we're going to stitch them as a Blake stitch, which means the stitches are going from the outside of the sole to the inside of the shoe. And because we've got our nice patterned sole on here, I'm not doing a groove, so if anything's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong here. Okay, stitched on all the way around, obviously 360 because there's no heel section, it's a flat sole. Speaking of the sole, we just need to finish the edge of sandpaper to make it dead smooth before we paint it. Alright guys, so there's our first sole on. Pretty cool, huh? There's Mando holding Grogu, stitched on, painted around the side. Before we do the other shoe, just got to finish this off, so what have we got to do? Stick the footbed back in and put the laces in, but before I do that, I want to just clean the uppers. Seeing as these are textiles, super easy to clean, what I like to do is actually use the Sapphire Omnidame shampoo, which is for suede, but it also works great for synthetics. Mix it up 50-50 with warm water. Just get some suds going. And then shampoo away without getting it too wet. Now you guys should all know how to do a ladder lace after a video a couple of weeks ago. So there we go, job done. Okay guys, so there we go, job done. We've got Mando and Grogu on our soles. I should say on my shoes, my Vans high tops, of course, because these are mine. This is just a bit of fun, bit of a project, but I really wanted to give it a go. How cool are they, Ron? They're way cooler than your shoes. Actually, you don't even have shoes. Actually, you don't even have feet. I don't like the way you're looking at me, Ron. Wait, what are you doing? You're gonna use the force on me, don't do that. Bloody hell, mate, it's only a joke. Anyway, that is it. That is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Something a little bit different. If you made it all the way to the end, do hit like, really helps me with the algorithm. Remember to hit subscribe, hit that notifications bell so you're kept in the loop when I upload new content. And remember, if you want any trainer cleaner, suede cleaner, you can get all our Sapphire products from our online shop, trinkshoerepairs.com. But for now, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go down the pub to celebrate the coronation. God save the king. Thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.